And we're back with the Tama Imperialstars. This being the first project of the Dumpster Rescue series, this kit consists of a 12x9 rack tom, a 14x10 rack tom, a 16x16 floor tom, and a whopping 26x14 inch bass drum. As you can see, it is very crusty and dusty and also missing some pieces. Hopping on Reverb, I found period correct bass drum claws with the matching tension rods and gathered everything else off of drumfactorydirect.com. Wanting to save on the cost of shipping and to cut down on the waiting time, I hopped in the truck and took a short drive over to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to pick up everything else that I needed. I ended up getting a 26-inch bass drum head along with the 26-inch chrome bass drum hoop. For the floor tom, I needed a 16-inch 8-lug rim, and I also got a bag full of tension rods in various lengths to complete the kit. But before I can install any of these new parts, I need to go ahead and clean the drums. To do so, I'm going to use some of the Vader's drum polish, along with Groove Juice, which is good for cymbals and hardware, a bit of Goddard silver polish, and possibly some Turtle Wax swirl remover. Jumping into it, I got to get the head off, and while I do so, I take note of any discrepancies that might be in the lugs themselves, the threads, or the tension rods. With the head off, we can take a look around on the inside. As you can see, these have that Zola coating to them and the very thick re-rings. Also, now is an excellent time to check any of the screws on the lugs or any of the other hardware inside the drum to make sure everything is nice and tight. Next, I take a little bit of this Groove Juice and spray it right onto a rag. It's not recommended for cleaning drum shells, but if you're careful, you can at least wipe down the lugs and the mounts. Then with the Vader's drum polish, I give it a couple sprays directly onto the shell and letting it sit for a moment before wiping it off. These drums were not bad at all, so this was a fairly quick and easy process. The only issue I ran into was one of the swivel nuts on the 14-inch rack tom. I thought was gone, but upon further inspection, I popped the lug off and it was just inside. That being a quick fix, I replace it and put it back on the drum and on to the next step. This older Tama has the plain nuts on the floor tom legs, so you're going to need a crescent wrench or something to get that apart. I remove those and set them aside, and then I focus my attention on removing the head and getting down to the inside of the drum for further inspection. And just like the other drums, with a few spritzes of chemical compounds, we get the crap off the shells and hardware and polish it up. With the rack toms and the floor tom finished, I can focus my attention on this mammoth-ass bass drum, and this being the last piece of the puzzle, we are in the home stretch. And same process as everything else. Remove the heads, inspect the inside, and polish her up. And it's always bass drums that hold the nasty surprises. In this one, instead of there being pillows, we have some nasty ass dry rotted felt that just so happens to camouflage perfectly into the carpet. With the grossness gone, I continue stripping down the drum piece by piece, removing the bass drum legs. And at this point, I was starting to really think I should have worn gloves for this part, because we have here lots of dust, and on the side, some mystery splooge. With a couple sprays of some DNA away, aka Vader's, I repeat the process as I did on the other drums until the bass drum is complete. Almost finished with the kit, it was on to cleaning up the rims. And for this, I used a little of the Goddard silver polish, as well as some steel wool to scrub off the rust and bring it back up to a shine. And to finish it up, it's a couple of sprays of the groove juice along with a microfiber cloth to polish it up to its final shine. And last but not least, I take the claws as well as the tension rods that were on the kit and soak them in some Evaporust to clean them up a bit. After a quick trip into my parts department, it was time for some new heads. I'm running Emperor coated on the batter sides, but before I do that, I'm going to hit the edges with a little bit of wax. Next, I spray a little bit of white lithium grease onto a rag so that I can dip the tension rods in them before threading them onto the drum. With the 2-key system, I replace the heads with an even tension on top before flipping the drum over and proceeding to do the same on the bottom. And talk about perfect timing. Just as I had finished up everything else on the kit and was ready to work on the bass drum, the claws that I had ordered off of Reverb have arrived. I ended up paying like $50 for these, including shipping, so not a bad deal at all. I just needed to get them soaking in some Evaporust to clean them up some before putting them back onto the kit. And I cannot stress enough how dope this Evaporust stuff is. It doesn't stink, it's inexpensive, and it works wonders. It's reusable, it cuts through the crap, and it is an awesome product altogether. And I somehow, over the years, have acquired these felt strips, so I'm going to use them. Although they are not quite 26 inches long, they will work for what I need them for. Ideally, I would have liked it to run top to bottom on the batter's side, but it is what it is, and this will work. And after getting that situated, the only thing left to do was to put on the hoop and the remaining claws and tension rods and call this project done. And there you have it, the Tama Imperialstar Dumpster Rescue. To get more content like so, subscribe and leave a like, and until next time, drums, drums, drums.